shout out to all the band members of The Unlikely, Mary, Logan, and Trevor. And I'm SJ Reiner, and we tune in to the We Get Hype show.
We get hype. Let's go.
The Unlikely. Now I said likely before, but we have The Unlikely. The band member Sara Jean. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm glad that you have made. I heard you came extra early. You came before us.
Yeah.
And we got here like around 1:30.
So Sara, can you? Because I was just catching Ozzie up with this, like, so where you're from. Like, tell us, like, I guess how much of a journey was it to get to Brooklyn today?
It was quite a few steps, but it was worth it. So I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania. That's the same hometown as Taylor Swift, so that's pretty cool.
There you go.
So I have my manager Bex with me, who also is one of my closest friends, so that's cool. So we drove into Staten Island actually and took the ferry into Manhattan and then took the subway over here. So.
That's what's called dedication.
Nice. It's right.
Now, when you start booking that 100 tour, all over the country, all over the world, please remember, come back.
Nice.
Come back. So I just want to start out. The name. What made you come up with that name?
So The Unlikely actually came out of a conversation with the other co-founder of the band. Her name's Mary. She couldn't be here today. But she and I were talking with a mutual friend of ours, and Mary and I both always wanted to be in a band, but we never really thought we could, because we never thought we were good enough musicians, and you know how self-doubt works with people. So, and our mutual friend sat us down and was like, look, just because you both think it's unlikely that you're going to do this doesn't mean that you can't. And when he said that, it clicked for me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the name. There we go, that's our name. And if you look at our bandmates, we wouldn't have met without our school like putting us all together. And so it's very unlikely that we would have met in the beginning. And we're kind of, so it kind of works that way.
I like
How long the band been together?
It'll be a year in September.
Holy shucks, that's like here.
That's us.
Wow.
The different faces put together. That's it. That's it. Has it been ups and downs with the band?
Yeah, it's a lot of practicing, it's a lot of shows, which we love doing, but it's a lot of long hours in the studio that we've all put in, and we all love each other, so it works out.
Wow. Now, what is the project, the latest project that you're working on right now? I know you have this song that's out right now, that's on the internet right now, the Remake Me. How did that come about? How did you choose that song?
So, Remake Me has a lot of funny stories with it.
Okay.
It took us the entire of our spring semester. So we started working on it in January and we finished it in like April. So that was cool. It took us a long time, but it gave us a lot of time to put work into it, which was nice. The reason it took a little bit longer to release was because when we actually sent it to our distributor DistroKid, they thought it was a cover because it has Remake in the name. So
Wow.
my professor at school actually had to email them and be like, it's actually not a cover, it's an original, it just has Remake in the name. So it was delayed by about a month for distribution, but that gave us a month to market it more and everything, but it was just kind of funny because like it was just like part of the process. But the song itself I actually wrote when I was on like a personal retreat in January, and it was our fall semester was great, but I had some personal stuff going on, and I remember just kind of sitting there and I was like, I feel like I'm not who I want to be right now, and I want to be better, but I don't know really how to do that, and I don't really know if I can. And it was kind of just that moment for me of like, I want to be remade, and I'm a Christian, so I was kind of like praying to God and being like, hey, can you remake me? And it's like an honest question. I feel like even outside of Christianity, people want to be remade. You want to be better than what you are right now.
Right.
And when you're in a dark spot especially, it's kind of that question of, can I push to be better? Can I be taken out of this and be the person I want to be? And so that's what the whole question of the song. And it was kind of me working through everything that I was struggling with and kind of reaching a resolution at the end, like, yeah, I can be remade and I can push every day to be better. It's going to be a lot of hard days and a lot of good days, but it doesn't mean that it's not worth trying. So.
Wow. So
that is deep.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, we
no,
got
you
deep
think
real
that's
fast.
deep? You think that's deep? What's your saying on your Instagram? Let everybody know.
So we are all broken, that's how the light gets in.
Say it one more time.
We are all broken, that's how the light gets in.
Ooh.
So it's a quote that is allegedly from Ernest Hemingway, but no one can actually find where it's actually from, which is why I didn't quote anybody from it. But I really like it because I feel like I look at life kind of like people are a lot of stained glass. Like, we're beautiful individual shards of things that have happened to us, but together we're something beautiful. And I think that our brokenness is what makes us that much more better and that much more beautiful together. And I think that, like, that's where the quote kind of comes from for me, is that where our brokenness is where the light of our lives can kind of shine through for other people as well.
I really love that message.
Yeah.
Positivity.
I didn't see your Instagram before. Like, I didn't look at your Instagram. I know your Instagram page. Like, I've seen it before because we both worked at the same studio, and you know, I've seen your Instagram 1,000 times, but I did not read the quote, and now just like hearing it out loud, I really dig that, and I dig the. I understand, you know, and I know you know the positive vibes that are all about that studio, so like, that's definitely like, you know, one of those types of good vibe type deals, and I dig that a lot.
And she has another one too, that I think all of us need to pay attention to this one. If you can remember, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot. All right. Let's see if you can remember it. I started out, be afraid.
So, don't be afraid to fail, be afraid not to try.
You heard that one?
That is a good one.
Very good. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that just shows, you know, you definitely positive. I saw that one also, and I was like, you know what, I needed to see that. You know, a lot of times we all afraid to fail, but if you don't try, that's the worst thing. You should be afraid not trying.
Right.
You know, so, because, you know, we don't want nobody talking about us, talking bad about us. Not us, but, you know, as a person, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I thought that was very interesting. Now, your genre of music, is it going to be under Christian?
No, we're just a rock band. So
Okay.
we stick to more just positive messages and stuff like that. We don't really want to be labeled one way or another.
Okay.
Right. And I know you did a few events too. One of the events, it was some sort of awareness, mental
Oh yeah.
health
So
awareness.
yes.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
our campus had a drug and alcohol awareness day, and part of that, like a subset of it, was mental health awareness. And that's something that we're all very passionate about in the band, and it's something that all hits home for each of us. And so we really wanted to just help the event in any way possible. And it was actually our professor's idea that we get involved in that way. And so we set up the concert with the person who heads up our psychology part of our school. And she was really excited to have us be a part of it and work with us planning the event. And we set up in our outside amphitheater, and we had a beautiful day. We had a beautiful day, which was ironic because it rained the day before and the day after. So it was kind of just perfect timing, blue skies, perfect weather. And we had a lot of people on our school come out, and apparently you could hear it in the buildings during class, which was cool. So probably not cool for the professors, but no one complained, so it's okay.
So the project that you're going to be working on, how many songs you looking to put out?
We haven't talked about it just yet because we're going to get back in the swing of school soon. We were all over the place during the summer, each doing our own thing. I was here in New York on an internship. But we'd hope to put out an album by the end of the year. That's our hope, I think.
What's your major?
Music industry studies.
Woo.
Wow.
What made you want to get involved in this industry?
That's crazy.
President too?
So that too is a long story, but long story short, I actually entered college as a bioeducation major, which is
Whoa.
as far as music
That's hard. For real.
But I think for me it was, I like biology, I still do, but I don't love it. And I think a lot of music people of the same background, arts in general, of like, oh, I want to pursue art, but it's not practical. So you pick the most practical thing that you sort of like and then go for that. And that's kind of what I did with bio. I liked it enough, and everyone was like, well, you're really good at teaching things. Maybe you could teach bio. And at that time, I hadn't learned about myself enough to really realize that music was where I wanted to be. And so I was like, this is a good way to enter college, And it served me well for a year and a half, and after that, I was like, you know, I proved to myself that I could do it, but I also proved to myself that I didn't want to. So I was like, you know, I changed over to music industry gradually, and I've really found that it's been the best for me. And the reason I changed in the first place was because I want to make a difference in music. And I think music is a really powerful vehicle to say a lot of things that culture needs to hear and that people need to hear too. And and it's a great way to also spread love to people that don't get the positivity that they can't get anywhere else.
So you might
You are
agree.
a perfect fit for coming here today. It's like you were supposed to be here today. You are hitting
true.
everything right on the nail. You are really a positive force, and that's what we're trying to promote. And
Thank you so
thank you for
much.
coming.
Nice, nice.
So would you agree that music can influence people,
Absolutely.
whether
Without a
negative
doubt.
or positive?
I think both,
Right.
actually, because I
I
feel
do
like
too.
everything that has an impact has a capacity for both. It's
That's
just
right.
how you use it.
That's right.
But I think I can speak for my own life. Music has changed my life, and I would be a very different person without the music that I had growing up. And you know, and so I want to be that for other people
Nice.
in a positive way.
That's great. That's great. So who are the band members? That's what I want to know. Hey, I hear some. I mean, I see them on the picture, but what's their names? You know.
Yeah. So.
How did y'all? All, I mean, y'all pretty. I'm pretty sure y'all met in college, right?
Yeah,
Right.
we all did. So Mary, who I mentioned earlier, she and I met through a mutual friend a few years back, and she plays guitar, so she's that nice acoustic guitar you hear in the beginning.
I gotta meet her.
Oh, she's great. She's actually my roommate this year, so that's
Nice.
Oh,
cool.
okay.
So Mary and I started the band, and we're co-founders. And then Logan is our lead guitarist. He's the one you hear doing all those crazy solos.
Yeah. Wicked.
Yeah.
I see Bill over here going along with it.
Yeah, I'm feeling it.
And then we had a session bassist. His name's Richard. So that's everybody that's on this track.
Wow.
Nice.
And being that you put the music out and you're dealing in the music industry, how did your parents feel about it?
I know everybody like in the band has like their own backstory. For mine, my family's very supportive, so they're very happy that I'm in this. At first, it was kind of like one of those rough things when I first started changing my major. It was kind of like one of those things where like, oh, whoa, what are you doing? But it was out of love, not out of like a bad place. And we've worked through it together, and they're really supportive, and they come to all the events. They're sometimes like, I feel like they'll be like the only people that would show up if we had a place that didn't have people, they would be there.
remember those days.
Not that we've had that, but if that were to happen, they'd be there.
Right.
That's awesome.
That's nice.
They're great, and
That's good.
it was really cool. For our release party, we actually had like a release party at my parents' apartment, and my mom made like guitar-shaped cookies. So it was a lot of
That's
fun.
cute. That's cute.
They're really cool.
Who were some of the bands that influenced you? And another question, what type of music do you listen to? But you can answer the first one.
Okay, so I have a lot of different influences. I think I would say like my favorite band is a band called 10th Avenue North. They're actually a lead Christian like rock pop band, but I really love their positive messages, and I really love the band Skillet as well. They're a big influence, and Bastille, they're a indie rock kind of pop artist. So yeah, I'd say those are my top influences.
All right. And what type of music do you listen to?
As to what I listen to, all kinds really. I have a big Irish part of my family, so I've listened to Irish music, so that's cool.
So you speak the language too?
Oh, definitely not. I would never try my hand at Gaelic. But I listen to anything from Irish music, pop music, rock, rap, rock, anything really.
Cool.
Anything with a really good message that I
There you
connect
go.
to.
Yes,
That's what I was talking about.
I like that.
So, in closing, I know the time is running out, but first of all, I would like to say I'm glad that you came by to the
Yes.
We Get Hype show. Definitely. It was very interesting, educational. Who would you like to give a shout out to, or what would you want the people to know about the future of your band? Or what they can look for, what they can expect from you.
And where they can find you.
Yeah, your band and where they can find you.
It's a lot.
Where to find us? I'll start there. If you follow us on Instagram, we're the unlikely. If you search that up there, it's the _unlikely_. So that's the easiest way to find us.